Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's got contamination.
It looks better now.
Okay, we'll start that then. Brought to you by Napa, now doing a full range of men's grooming products, starting with this, the Napa Auto Trans Universal D2 hair lacquer. Just look at that finish, folks, on Pete C's bonnet, whatever you want to call it. We're also doing a range of underspray men's care products. There's shaving products, we've got the whole lot. Napa, folks. Come on and join us in this new part of the episode. Let's go! Hair for Men by Napa. Join us. It's Pete C under the car. We've had a disaster. Oh my God. Guess what I'm going to do? Pete C, and welcome to this episode where we have gearbox fun, and we commit sacrilege on Tina G. We drill a hole straight through the floor, and you go, no! Well, there was no way out. It had to be done. Join us. PC Cortina City, and I'm just going through Tina G. She's been clocking up some miles now. I'll be taking you out on the road very soon. Today I'm just looking for any oil leaks. I'm going to swap the gearbox oil for the correct mineral oil. I'm going to fit the reversing light switch and inhibit switch, which we tried to fix as you saw. Then I'm going to fit those LED reversing lamps, fit the LED tail lamps. There's a standalone video just about the LEDs, but we might tag it to the end of one of the shows as well. It'd be like a double hit for you. You'll have seen it before as a standalone, but we'll put it at the end as well. Maybe a slightly abridged version, I don't know. I'm going around looking for leaks, and guess what? There are no leaks. The rocker cover stopped leaking finally. There's no oil leaks, no petrol leaks, engine's running like a dream. Everything is looking good, no water leaks. The fan belts on the power steering's working good, no power steering leaks. Excuse me. The only thing I had on it, and I'm just going to show you something now, this got me out of jail. Let's get you in. Make sure I don't put my derriere on a hot hose, we wouldn't want that. Yeah, look at this. Excuse me, I've just got a little bit of some of the fumes there. There aren't any fumes. I'm fine. This is Lucas engine oil stop leak. Now I haven't used it in this car, but I have used it somewhere in the car, in an unusual place. There was one power steering leak on the pinion seal. That's the seal that goes round the input to the actual steering rack. So where the steering linkage comes in, and it has a spline. The input to the actual steering rack has got a rubber seal round it. Now that was weeping, and it looked a bit dry, looked a bit cracked. So I looked online, and a little trick you can do with this Lucas engine oil stop. What it does, it'll swell rubber up a little bit and soften rubber, make it much more supple. So I just dribbled that round the shaft seal. I tried to get a new seal, but at the moment I can't find who makes this rack, what it's all about. So in the meantime I thought I'll just pop this on. I left it for a week and it's worked. It's stopped leaking. So what it's done, it's softened the rubber and just slightly probably expanded it a little bit. It probably didn't need much. So that's fixed what could have been a horrible job. Steering linkage certainly would have had to have come out to get, and then I think there's a circlip then you get the seal out. It's not mega, but it stopped us having to do it. How long it lasts, I don't know. I reckon it'll be, I think that'll be it. I think it'll be good to go. So no leaks, which is great. Engine runs like a dream. I'm going to be doing the lamps. Of course, there's the front headlights, but I've got to wait for the left-hand drive glass to arrive. And of course, I'm still going to be using this car in the UK for a while. So I'm just going to have the left-hand drive lamps in stock ready to go. And in the meantime, I'll do the night breaker conversion on this as it stands, just so I can demo to you how good it is. So this can have quad high beam lamps because it's got H4 capable lamps as the full beam, as a dip and full beam. It's got the full beam lamps, of course it's GXL. So I'm going to change all the bulbs in this to night breaker. Yeah, and that should give us a lot better light output. Then when the left-hand drive glasses come in, I'll just be swapping them straight out, so everything will be ready to rock. So that's that. Also got to jack it up and get the measurement for the prop. The prop guys want the exact measurement, so I'll get that now. Drop the gearbox, and I'm going to fit the reverse switch. So hopefully it'll work. I need to just connect some wires to it, then we're good to go. See you in a sec. Watch off, don't want to scratch it. Let's go. Let's get under there, do what we gotta do. So, gearbox change, oil, reverse and park inhibit switch to fit, a quick visual inspection underneath, see how things are looking, headlights to do, reverse lights to do, tail lights to do, LEDs, bit of oil, bit of jiggery pokery. I'm on with the reverse switch fitting. Reverse and park inhibit, you saw me try and repair the old one, but we couldn't do it. So I'll keep the loom that I built, but I'll just put Lucars on the end and solder these. I don't like crimping on something as heavy gauge as this, and certainly something that you're pulling and messing with under the car, and certainly something that's mission critical. Lucars can pull out, but what I do with these, I soldered them on. I haven't got bare ones, so I'll just remove the blue shrouds by heating them up. Just twist them, pull off the blue, we'll be putting heat shrink on. The reason I pull off the blue so I can solder it, no other reason. You could solder it with it still on, but it gets in the way. So 4 of these to do. Then some heat shrink. Mustn't forget to slide the heat shrink on first before we do any other stuff. Just get the right size. This will do. Hang on, let's get this one's ready to come off. Multitasking. Whoa, that one's gone for walkies. I've got it. There's the H1 bulb I was looking for. Right. Things just turn up, don't they? what do we want? We want to cut 4 pieces of that type. No need to crimp, we just solder straight on. That's off, right there, done. Use a little block of wood, stops you burning your bench. Get these ready, so we want to cut 4 pieces of this heat shrink. Uno, 2, 3, 4. Por favor. Cortar. There we go. Slide on. I've tested the switch by metering it out, it does work. So that inhibit switch stops you from starting the car unless you're in park. One more heat shrink to go on. Let's make a nice job. Okay, so in that goes. You can nip them if you want, there's no need. This is quite, because it's thick gauge wire, these fit in pretty nice. The trick is not to let the solder get into the blade area, otherwise it's a tight fit on the unit. So they're ready to go. I'll reach across and get the solder, switch off the meter, get the solder, and in we go for some soldering. Let's see what we can do. Heat the whole affair up. I'm going to feed in from the back, I think. Oh, I can feed in from there. Does smell good, this leaded solder, much better. That's that one. Next, please. Next customer, please. Next customer, please. And we're nearly done. Much better this way than crimping them. I think that's it. I think that's got them. To be fair, I'd like to see a little bit more just coming out the end of that nose, just because these are so, well, the reverse ones aren't current. There's quite a bit of current goes through that solenoid. So that one just looked a bit suspect. So I'm just going to go over them, just double check this, because there's quite a bit of solder here. I'm confident about that now. Just didn't quite see. I can see the strands had got the solder on, but I just wanted to see a bit more. That's right now. Right, so we've got 4 of those. Slide the heat shrink over in a sec. Let me get rid of that. I think that's it. Let me get rid of that. I could just slice that off, but I'll take the solder into that one. Just sometimes it blobs out. So just do this. There you go. Now you could, if you wanted to, cover them completely. We might do that. I think it's slightly better to do that. You know, give it an actual shroud. Even more protection, isn't it? I think that's originally what I was thinking, actually. It is quite close to the bone, this diameter. But it will go. So we're making our own little shrouds there. Like this. There we have it. So we'll put the heat gun on that now. That's looking nice. And then we just have to decide which is which. The park, I'll meter it out. The park switch will be closed circuit, so this will bleep because so you can start it up. I think when it's pressed. Yeah, that one. That's park. I can tell this is going to work because the other one used to release way too quick. So park, inhibit, starter solenoid inhibitors, those two. And then the other two are the reverse light connectors. And that should be it. So we can go underneath the car now and put this back and try it out. There is a level of adjustment on it. We'll just see how far we have to screw it in for it to work. You can use this to set the depth. Expensive, that was 74 quid. I just couldn't find one, and everyone seemed to be naming the prices on them. Apparently they go a lot, the bad things for failing. Let's put it on, let's go underneath the car and try this out. Well, something's gone wrong with the switch. I cannot get it to operate, and when you put the switch in now, it's jamming the gear selector lever, so something's gone wrong in this little aperture here. Either a lever's bent, pushed back, or something's not engaged properly. I'm going to have to drop the sump and have a look up, see if we can get up there. I was going to take the sump off anyway because I'm going to do the pickup filter just in case that's got debris in it. And we're changing the oil anyway, so it's not a mega deal, but something I'd rather have not done. So it looks like I've got to take the sump off this and find out why the switch just doesn't engage into this slot. It's just not operating as it should. There should be some kind of little lever that pushes in and out. It seems to be missing, or I've screwed it in and pushed it back. Something's gone wrong. So I'll drop the oil out, and I don't think I can do it with one hand, but I'll be right back. Right, we're gonna have to take the pan off. But I suppose I want to look at the pickup filter anyway. It's not a big deal. Maybe I should order one tonight off eBay. This has got to come out, so this isn't no big deal, but I didn't expect to have to put take the sump off, but it's got to be done. How many bolts take off the sump, and will I need a new gasket? These are the questions we just don't know. Sump off. I need a new gasket. Well, we've got to get the sump off. Oh dear, big job's broke out. Right, I'm just hoping that, let me just clean up first because I made a bit of a mess. Let me clean up. Off your screen is the usual city deal to clean up the mess. And there's bits of gunge and gasket everywhere. So someone couldn't have been bothered to get the proper gasket. So instead they just put silicone on, and this has gone on my bill. I've still got the bill for this job, and I might find out the company and take this stuff back. It was 35 years ago. I don't know if they'll still be in business. But I'll tell you what, you don't put a sump back on like that without proper nice gaskets, just shoving sealer on it. So it's onto eBay for me for a filter and a gasket for this. In the meantime, I'd like to show you, or we're both going to learn together, that there's something wrong with the selector switch. That was the whole point of me opening it up. I mean, I know I was going to change that filter anyway, or at least inspect it, so it's good that we've done that. I'm just cleaning the oil up so I can come underneath and help you. More bits of gunky gasket. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm cleaning the floor as we speak, because otherwise it'll be the usual look who it ain't. It's covered in paint. Right. Now, come under here. Let's see what we've got. Torch out, you off. We'll bring you in a different place. Yeah, well, I thought something bad had happened, and I was right. If you look here where my finger goes in, there's a piece of metal, and that is the selector. The sort of the metal which pushes on the pins of the park inhibit switch. It's got scallops out of it, and it's snapped off this operating arm here. The selector arm snapped. Now I think when I've been screwing in the new switch that it's hit this outer line and basically levered on it and snapped it off. It's the only thing I can think of. It must be that. There's no way that that's been rattling around in there forever. So I think that by screwing in this new start switch, we've fucked up and snapped this. That's major, because it doesn't look like you can get to this. And now I have got a spare gearbox, luckily, but how do you get this arm out? I mean, it looks like you've got to drop the whole lot, which sends me on to thinking, well, the gearbox I've got now, I should go and get it rebuilt and then write this one off. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So it's a major job broke out, all because of that switch. Can you believe it? You wouldn't think by screwing the switch in wrong you could shatter the actual position that it selects. You wouldn't think you could do that. I mean, you wouldn't think the switch would have enough gumph to snap that arm. It is only cast, some kind of alloy. I could bring the other gearbox in here and strip it and see how hard it is to take it to pieces. I don't know what to do. Can you get this down? If you could get this filter block down, you could possibly get to the arm, because there's a pin on it here. I don't know. This is a tricky one. I think we've lost the box. Oh dear. It ain't that hard to change out, so I'm going to have to give this some thought. Do we go to abroad knowing we've got a nice rebuilt box? Good question. I don't know. So everything's on hold now. The other jobs that I'd planned are now stuck. The car is stranded. Might be able to do that LED on Swampy for you. The drive out on the quad, or at least I could take Ruby out and show you the quad lamps on Ruby, I suppose. But this is out of action. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's probably bring the other gearbox in here and have a look at it. That's what we're gonna have to do. See you in a sec. Bringing in the other box then. Big job broke out. We've snapped it. Well, that's a deal gone bad. We have trashed the gearbox by turning in the park and inhibit switch when it mustn't have been lined up with the pole or the selector thing. But do you know what? I think that thing was cracked, because the last time I've been trying to repair that switch and getting it to adjust right, and we've been having starter motor problems. I think that it's slowly been cracked and it's been over, and that's what's causing the switch not to work, and that you're having to wind the switch all the way in to get it to operate. I think there's been a fault ongoing with that for a while. So maybe it's as well it's happened, because if that had happened abroad, boom, that's it, you're knackered. So looks like we're going to have to get the gearbox out. Looking at this, this is hold on, this is black magic, you know it is. These automatic gearboxes, they're just black magic. Look at them. I mean, you know, heck, you could have a whole book just dedicated to this, and there's no way I'd even begin without a clinical workshop and years of training to begin to even try and do this. But what I was hoping was that, just on a sort of on a whim, that that selector lever, it does show it. Here it is. If you look now, folks, here it is. So this part has snapped there. So that's the detent for this little ball bearing. How's that still in position? I've no idea, but it's still up there. And that's your click, click, click position on your, that's your selector lever. So you've got a detent on your T-shifter itself plus this, so they work together. They were in nice sync. The side of this is little gaps, and that's where it pushes against the pin of the switch. There's the starter switch. So that's screwed into there onto the side of this, and then somehow managed to snap it. You wouldn't think that by putting that in you could break this, because something's not been right. I don't know how it's done it. So you could recover one of these out of the other gearbox and fit it into this, or just take the other gearbox to get fully rebuilt. You know what we really need to do is get the other spare gearbox, take it to a gearbox place who we can trust. We're going to have to find someone that we trust and get them to fully overhaul it, then swap the gearboxes. There's no point messing with this. I mean, yeah, it was a bit snappy in gear changes, but it's a shame to say goodbye to that box. You know, what can we do? Has the box been at least of use to get the car up and running up to this point and get us around and mobile and carrying on doing testing? Yeah, there's always a silver lining, but in this case, the lining here is not so good. I'm going to have to leave that for today. There's not much I can do. I'm going to have to regroup. This is bad. It's a blow for Pete at the city. He's going to have to regroup and work out what he's going to do. You know, I was right up for doing some easy stuff. You know, getting yourself that inhibit switch on, so we could get the reverse lights on. I suppose I could still do the LED bulb conversion, because I can just short the connector and show you them reverse lights. I just want to see my LED reverse lights, how good they are. But now I've blown the whole gearbox. Wow. I mean, I could get the other ball warner box in here and pull the sump off, but the gearbox place might not like that. They might go, oh no, you know, you should have brought it to us in one piece. I'm going to have to make inquiries. It's time now to research who's going to be a good gearbox person for us and just get it in the system. There's nothing I can do. I'll have a look on eBay if there's any rebuilt ones going cheap. At the moment, we're dead in the water, and I have no idea what I'm going to do, or indeed what footage is coming up next. I do not know, folks. This is, you got me. I think what I'll do in times like this, in order to cope with it, I go into survival mode. In order to cope with this, what I do is I regroup and I go, right, okay, I'm stuck there. There's nothing I can do right now. It's not the end of the world changing a gearbox, but I'm stuck there. So what I tend to do in these situations is I'll put everything away and start from scratch again. Because at the moment I've got quite a few tools out, and then I'll just clear everything, clear my head, clear everything, walk away, do some research and come back. It's all right. The only downside is I've got a yellow car outside that doesn't like being in the rain, and this is nicking its spot, and this ain't moving, so we're stuck. So I'm going to have to sheet up Ruby as well. PT takes a blow. Right back. Well, right here is Bramble's original gearbox before I fitted the A4LD. I kept this. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to pull the sump off it and just see if that valve block comes out. Now in the Ford book it says the valve block comes out with 3 bolts. Now it could be, if we can drop the valve block, it's a long shot, you might be able to get to that rod with a selector arm on it. It's worth a try. It is a long shot, and I have gone on eBay and found a Gearbox Guy fully rebuilt 795 exchange. That's not a bad price at all. To be fair, that ain't no rip-off. And considering that we're taking this car away for a long time, is it a good idea to say, well, that box was properly done, this guy looks like he knows what he's on about. So this would just be out of curiosity, I suppose. Really what my brain tells me is bite the bullet and get on with it and just get this packaged up, or take that one out, probably take that one out, get it packaged up and roll the car out, put a sheet on it so we can still use the garage for other maintenance work. Otherwise this is going to hold the garage up. So seeing it's on axle stands now, I've got a choice: drop the box. By the time I finish messing around, you know, start motor off, bell housing bolts off, kick down cable off, gear selector cable off, prop down, probably exhaust off, which annoys me a bit because I love it when I've bolted the exhaust up and you're done disturbing the exhaust again. Do you know what annoys me the most is the exhaust. But anyway, you've got to just keep smiling, and these things are sent to test us, you know. It's not that bad, it's just metal. It happens. To be fair, the gearbox did make some funny noises from time to time, and it was a bit doof through the gear changes. So it could be that we get back a whole better gearbox. And it looks like the people who built my box, putting on that gasket sealer like that, I'm sure it should have a proper gasket on it. Did they ever build it properly? Was there a fracture on that cam in the first place anyway? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, you just don't know. How could me screwing in that switch snap that arm? I suppose it could. But yeah, we could prove the theory by screwing the switch into this in any position and seeing if that causes it to go crazy. Because this has got everything on it. We can select gears here. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. Hold on. Let's just see if what I did was wrong. Hold on, let me just close the door. Garage door off. Okay. I'll keep you running. So it's going to be this side. Goes in there. And screwing that in there, snap the arm. So I've just gone in, I don't know what gear I'm in, I think I'm in park. Yeah, I've screwed it in park. I put it in reverse actually, so it was in reverse when I did this. Screw it in. I don't know, that seems to be blocking it out. That's the problem I have. Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem I have. That's locking it out now. This is exactly what happened to me when I broke it. So that must have to go in a certain way. Yeah, this is also locking out. This is the problem that I had. This is the right switch, as far as I know. I just couldn't get it to work. So, out of complete curiosity, I'm going to take this off to see how it happened, how it went wrong. It doesn't really matter. Hold on, let me get the screen on. It doesn't really matter. Could you see that when I was doing that then? No, you couldn't. Look, let me bring this back. Here. I'm only on a small screen. Let me move my hand. So yeah, there. I'm screwing in the switch like I did when we were underneath the car, and at that point it doesn't jam it. But when you go in too far, but I couldn't get any bleeps off it. Let's put it in park. I'm just going to do this, it's completely out of curiosity. I'm going to get the meter. Let me buzz this out. I know one click's reverse. I know that's reverse. So at that point in reverse, one of those should be bleeping out. Can you still see? Just about. This ain't the best angle, sorry. Just gonna have just wheeled it in. I couldn't get it to do anything. So there's nothing on that one. That's open circuit. That's closed. Still closed. Now in park, you shouldn't be able to get. It should go open circuit in park. Now this one works. This is what I couldn't get. I couldn't get this. That's park. So that shouldn't work. So you just come out. Nothing. Nothing. There we go. Right, one click. Does that break it? No. That's on the threshold there. Don't know if this switch works, to be fair. Oh, yeah, that's working now. Yeah. Yeah, so that works. I couldn't get this to do it. So something was wrong in there in the first place. But anyway, that's the way it works. We might take this off, but I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to tidy up. But you know what our curious brains are like? They're just so curious. We'll catch you on another part of the film. You're going to leave me like this? We'll see you on another part, and I think we're probably done for an hour and a half here anyway. PC is going to leave you with a broken gearbox just because of that selector arm. Unless, out of some kind of miracle, we pull the sump off here, and with just a few bolts, the whole valve block will drop down and I can get that arm out and push it all back together. I don't think so. We could practice on this, and if it's feasible, we could do it. If not, once we took this to bits, put it back together and send this off as the exchange unit, or just send this box off as the exchange unit. But I'm going to have to let the gearbox guys know if I do that they're getting an exchange unit with a snapped arm. See you soon. PC signing out. Well, left you with that selector fork inside the gearbox gone, rendering the whole gearbox no good. Gonna have to come out the car, so the whole job is now on hold. It's 8 in the morning. I left you late last night, you know. Well, some days you wake up and there'll be nothing. It's just the way it goes some days. Black is the word. Black is the word. Just some days you wake up and there's just nothing. You can do all the high jinks, high energy, your love is lifting me. You can do all that, but some days you wake up and there's just nothing. I've never done a gearbox before, never swapped a box out, not an auto box. I don't think it's possible. It's possible. I don't know. I don't think so. Oh god, the torque converter, starter motor out, bell housing bolts out, speedo cable off, gear selector lever off, kick down cable down, cross member mounts, exhaust down. Oh no, not the exhaust. Not the exhaust. Not like this. Not like this. But every time you sit here like this, you get weaker. You know the film. And every minute the car sits like that, it gets stronger. And the walls start to close in. Right, you're looking at the underside of the box. Can I show you effectively the part? I think I might have done it yesterday when we initially discovered this problem, or this occurrence. There it is. That snapped. So we've got to get this rod out. Looks a fun operation, I can tell you. It comes out this side. There's a split pin there, look. So that rod would come out. It'd probably just make it, if we drop the gearbox down, we'd get it. It'd go through. Where does that slot onto there though? We could practice on the box that we've got. Looks a bit of fun. I don't know. You can take the valve body down. There's 3 bolts holding it on. And they'll be watching this going, oh, you do it that way. No, no, not that, not that. I don't know. This filter's not good either. It's cracked. It's a gamble. The whole thing's a gamble. Apparently it's very heavy to get the gearbox up without a transmission stand, so I'm going to be struggling. Andy says that they weigh a ton. Yeah, I suppose they do. It's fun. It's fun. Okay, following advice from Andy. 3 bolts out and these pipes off. These pipes just push in. These are interconnecting pipes to the valve body. They're in the way. We're going to try and take the valve body off so we can get better access to this selector arm. I think this is doable. I actually think this is doable. So the pipes are off. There's only 3 bolts hold this on. And then it's got the kick down cable, but that's not connected to it. It's just a push valve. This should withdraw. A lot of oil's going to come out, so this should withdraw. I'll spin you around. Let's see if we can just drop this valve body. Then we can see a lot better what's going on. We may, there's an outside chance we could change this selector arm, the whole thing in the car. We could be okay here. I don't know. Let's just see. It's going to be interesting. This is a good bit of footage for the city. You've got to look at it in a positive way. It's certainly coming loose already, you can see. I don't know what's holding it in. It's probably like a rubber gasket or something, an interference fit. But this valve body may well drop down. There's oil coming out. I've got clean cloths knocking about. Let's just see what happens. Right underneath for you at the city on Pete's Borg 1 of 35 box. I know loads of oil's going to come out. Oh, my crucifix is jamming in me. Let's have a look at this kick down situation. That should just... Ooh, no, that should come out. Kick down's not connected to it. Yeah, I think it's just like a rubber fit. This whole module's going to come off. it's pivoting, so that means there's no fixed point except one. If I clean the screwdriver down with a clean cloth, we don't want to introduce any contamination into the situation here, but with nothing to lose, it's gone anyway no matter what, so whatever we do, we'll try and increase our chances of success. But I need to lever this valve body down. I reckon it's some kind of rubber seal on it. I don't want to overstress that cable. It should just pop out. Try and catch the rest of the oil. Just the kick down. How does that slot out of there? It should just push sideways out. Come on, kick down cable. I don't want to fray it. I don't want to stress it. I'm struggling with a kick down. Could take the whole bracket off. Might take the whole bracket off. Shouldn't have to really, but it won't wobble out. Kick down cable eyelet, it's trying to wobble out and I can't quite get it. It's designed to be chained, so I know it must come out. The crazy thing is my kick down cable's damaged. This gives me the chance to change it. Oh, it never leaked. Yeah, it's going that way. I think I've got it. Yeah, it comes out that way. I can see it. It's going. We've got it. It's going to go. It's gone. Valve body's off. Get it on a clean sheet quick. I don't know if you can see. I hope I've got the camera something like right. Here we have a better view with the valve body now removed. We can see the problems. There it is, that's snapped off. So we've just got to take this out. This could be done, this could be fixed. I can't see any big deal here. I don't know how that would connect to it, but whoa! That's the end of that. Did you see that? Oh my god, I didn't expect that. It just disappeared off. Right, okay, so this rod needs to come out, but that's all you've got to do. This can be done. I don't see why we can't do this. Let's get right on. Let's get this rod out. How does that rod connect? How does that connect to the rod though? Is it fixed, welded to it? Is it cast to it? Oh, I think I know how it works. You go that way, then this drops down this way, and you kind of slot it in, which is why you've got to lower the gearbox, because it hits the car. So if we take off the prop shaft and take the cross member off, the gearbox will lower down enough to push the rod out, hopefully. I would say that's how it works. I think. Yeah, I think that's how it works. Can't see any other way. Okay, let's take the rod off the other gearbox so we've got ourselves a donor one. I'll be right back. Right, Bramble's gearbox with the sump off. This little magnet just sticks there, would you believe, and collects all little bits and bobs. So underneath the car I took these 3 pipes off there, and then 3 bolts, and then the valve body comes away. This is what we need to get off this here, so we're going to have to do the same here and pull the valve body off this box. Here we go, pull the valve body off this one. This is okay. So here's what we need. This this arm snapped there. So I'm going to take that out. Take off that bolt at the end. There's not much to it. I think it can be, I really think this can be done. That's a bit of a problem there. It's in the way. I don't know if that's going to be in the way. That's possible. I don't like the way that's all connected up. It might go without moving that. It's very clean in this box, I must admit. Looks brand new. What holds that? Oh, that's got a pin on it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm getting it now. Slots in, so this is not connected to that. Right, I've got it. Undo the end of this. You need to get, the key is this here, this roll pin here, that's the key. Now on mine it's got a split pin, which is going to make life easier. This has got a roll pin. Can we knock that roll pin out? That is the question. It's in an awkward position, but you can change gear and get the roll pin there. So we need to knock that roll pin out. Then this will move. It'll move this way. Then you slot the whole thing together under spring tension. 13mm on the end of there. I'm going to knock the roll pin out here. Coming in now to your screen. Continuous take. Oh, you're on a magnet. Sorry about flying about. Here we go. There's a roll pin there. This fits into a slot at the end there. That cast piece is what snapped. The parking switch is just underneath it, and that's apparently what snapped it. Okay, so if I knock out the roll pin, take off the 13mm bolt at the end of the selector arm, then this bar will come out this way. Now my chassis rail's here, so when I'm going to try and knock this out in the car, I'm going to hit the chassis rail. But let's just take this selector rod out so we've got it. There's the pipes laid out there. We've got to put them back in that order. With another roll pin to remove just at the back of this bracket, we can now take the rod out, but it comes out from the selector side. So driver's side, we just lost a little collar there. I'll have to go and get that. We'll have to tip this upside down and just grab that collar, but I'm doing it freehand for the benefits of people at home. This spring will then go flying. I'll put you on the tripod. Hold on, I'm going to catch these bits. Right, watch this spring's going to go. There's a little ball, detent ball, that went off for a little jaunt, but I can get it. Put that back on there like that. This is the piece we want here. Just withdraw slowly back, take that spring, put that to one side. There's a ball bearing gone down. There it is. I've got the ball. Hold on, let's get the magnet. Let's not let that escape. Another spring on it too. Where's my magnet? Here. Just get that ball. Clean the end of the magnet. Get the ball out. There we go. Come on. Right, I've got the ball. There's another spring there. Oh yeah, that's that one that goes up this end. So that rod we won't necessarily need. Put that down. So now this is the part we're after, folks. This is the holy grail. And it sort of locks in. Now that could be the hard part. It's getting it to lock into that lever arm. Because this only locks in at a certain point. So we would be having to dangle this down underneath the car. We're going to be something like this under the car, turning and locking in. And that is the component that broke. And you can see how the switch engages this now. Let me demonstrate this. Look, this is how the switch goes. for its different positions. So that's park now. Then it clips into reverse here, then rides out, and then it's done. Or that's reverse rather. No, that's reverse. Park's there, that's the park detent. So the switch is pushed in and it's making contact. And then it'll break contact a little bit out for reverse. And that's it. So that's what broke. So we're thinking that by screwing this in too much, it snapped it. But you wouldn't think that this switch could break that. Now I'm wondering if this was on its way out. Andy said it was quite possibly on its way out, and that I finished it off when I fitted the new switch. I don't know. But the mission is to get that back inside the car now. Wow. It's not that bad. The biggest problem that we could probably encounter would be the detent ball bearing, because we're upside down. That's going to be really difficult. Now at the moment, for me, it's stuck in, which is lucky. It hasn't flown out at my face underneath the car, but it could well just eject itself. If it does, we've got ourselves a little bit of a problem. I don't know how we're going to get around it. You could use some kind of dissolvable. You need to. This needs to stick to that. You couldn't even magnetize. Oh, I tell you what, there is a trick. I can feel on the outside of the casing there's a bulge here. Now I'm wondering if I magnetized that. Yeah, that's got to be. I'm just thinking, I've got the magnet. Let me just see if by putting the magnet through the housing, the aluminium housing, if it'll magnetize the spring. I don't know. I can feel a slight attraction with the magnet. We could. Whether that's strong enough to hold it upside down. Let's test it out of the car. So magnet on the spring. Would that hold a ball bearing in there? No, not quite strong enough. Good idea. Works at close range. A very strong magnet on the outside of the casing could hold that in place. This will be the biggest problem. If that shoots out, we're in trouble. That's going to be the hardest bit. Now at the moment in Tina G, it is set like this. It's somehow stuck in. I don't know why it's stuck in, but it's stuck in. So if that pops out, then we're in a world of difficulty. That's it. We've got to do the reverse in the car. Join me upside down underneath the car as I begin to get this bar out. You'll see the selector ball here just waiting to eject itself into oblivion. And you'll see there's a little roll pin here I've got to get out, and we don't want that flying off because that's what'll happen. It'll go AWOL. I've just got to knock it out. This could go wrong on this little pin. I've got a split pin out at the other end of the bar. I've got to go under and knock out this little roll pin without losing it. Certainly tricky. It's a bit like Danger UXB, unexploded bomb. This is definitely Danger UXB with Pete C. Right, that is nearly out. I'm going for this pin here. Got it. Right, put the pin somewhere you don't lose it, for God's sake. Right. Okay, that's free. That's free. And that's free. In theory now, if I release the pliers at this end, gently, if that ball goes, it's game over. I can't see how we're going to get round it. Right, the bar should start coming out this way. There's a washer this end, we mustn't lose that. Little washer's going to try and come off this end. Right, now what's stopping this coming out? It should go. The other one came out this way. It's definitely not that way. It was this way on the other one. It's not that way. Something definitely bottoms out that way. It's got to be this way. It could just be tight. This bar should come out. There's nothing to stop it. What a bitch. Don't want to get hold of the threads. That thing's stuck now. What is stopping you? Just friction, is it? Tap at this end. If I can get in to tap. I can get in to tap. Yeah, it's just tight, it is going. It'll just be a bit of corrosion on the rod. It is going. I'm going to slowly work it. Hold on while I'm slowly working this bar back and forward. Exhaust is in the way. We could do an extender. That's going to keep going till it hits the car chassis. I don't want to grab that with pliers because I'll knurl it. It is getting easier. Something's just making it not a nice smooth extract. I think it's corrosion there. Yeah, look, see that corrosion there? Bramble's box is in better condition than this. There is a section that you could grab that wouldn't affect it, and that's here. Then you could strike on these grips, because that section's not doing anything. Like that. Nice one. You've got it. Right, ball hasn't moved. Rod is out. Rod now strikes the car, okay? Big time. But we've got a plan. We have a plan. Even if I drop this gearbox down, it's still not going to clear it, I can tell. But X is going to mark the spot. And you're going to go, oh gee, you've got to be kidding me. So come on, get the comments going now. What's Pete C going to do? The rod strikes the floor pan. What's Pete going to do? Start banging your answers in now. What sacrilege is going to take place here? Start banging in them answers now, folks. Come on, bring it on to me. Bring it on to me good. What we're going to do? Bar strikes the car. Strikes the floor pan. Drop the whole gearbox down, then hit the chassis leg. Hit the chassis leg there, then not have enough room. Even then, twisting and pulling. Or drill a hole straight through the floor pan, lift the carpet up, then just put a rubber bung in the hole. Call it an inspection hole if you will. Pete C. It's Pete C. Screen flip. You guessed it right, folks. You really did. At the city. Whew, I actually get quite cosy when I'm underneath these cars. Yep, we're going to drill a hole straight through the floor and put a rubber bung in it and extract the bar. We're going to move the mountain to Mohammed. That's right, you guessed it. We either lose the gearbox or we don't. We either go for it or we don't. Okay, take your pick, make your choice. If that ball bearing there goes, hang on, Let me move this broken selector back. If that ball bearing there goes, it's good night, because I cannot see how I would ever support that bearing. And you know, and you can see it's right by the switch position where the switch comes through. Anyway, we just got to get on with the job, and that bar hits there. We've got to drill a hole straight through the car. Let's get on with it. Let's just do it. It's done then. Bloody hell, they build this metal thin, didn't they? I just hope that does it. It doesn't look like it will. Sheesh, too late now. It looks like we'd have to go a bit more, to be fair. It doesn't look like it's going to hit the target. Wow. That would have been nice with just a simple rubber bung in it, but I think I went off target there. Welcome to Pete C's patented selector rod extraction system. And we go out through the hole. Straight out. Oh yeah. Out we go. Remember, there's a washer. There it is. Just caught that in time. There's that washer. Just caught that in time. It goes on at the last minute, but here we go. Keep going. I expected a bit of resistance from this at the end, because the shaft is rusty. There you go. A little bit more and we're out. Come on. It's just the rod itself. It's got little patches of rust on it. There you go. Slowly, folks. We're off. We're out. Spring. So it's spring is the first thing on. Selector rod is the second thing on. Then a washer if you're going to use the split pin. If not, the collar and the roll pin. Then spring compress this and the roll pin into this. I think I can remember all of that. So there's our bad boy. And the other half of it is up on the rod here. Or did we bring that out? I think we brought that out, didn't we? So that's everything. Now will this go all the way inside the cabin? It should do. So we'll go inside the cabin now and get the rest of the rod out. Bang on the middle, but I did use a patented height adjustment system. Pete C's patented rod extractor height adjustment system is in your screens right now. Use the jack to take the middle section, take the center bolt off the gearbox mount so the gearbox can push a little bit upwards, thus lining the rod bang on in the middle of our pre-drilled hole in cheap Ford metal. Bang on in the middle. Come off it. Come on. And just a nice rubber bung in there. And that's a hell of a lot easier than dropping all of the gearbox down. It just looks like an inspection hole. Hell, I might even use it to pass some cables through for some goodies if we ever put in an A4 box on this bad boy. You've already got your access hole. Genius. Right, I'm threading the bar back in now. Through the floor of the cart. Spring on first. Selector fork on next. Now we just need to make sure that everything lines up. We need to get this on the ball. Selector. Should be able to slot it on. Right, so that's on, and now we've got to get the linkage arm on. So linkage arm next. Wow, It's going okay though. That hole that I made in the floor pan is bang on, by the way. You just adjust to suit. Perfect. That saves us a hell of a lot of trouble. We could get away with this, you know. It's possible. It's possible. What's next? Next is the linkage arm. I'll go and get that now. It's on the valve block. Hold on, I'll be right back. I've got the locking link on. Washer next. Washer for the split pin. And the roll pin. Wow, I'm nearly there. The ball's not popped out. The ball's not popped out. Washer on there. I'll keep on going. Oh, if I can get this up without knocking the ball out, I'm nearly out of the danger zone. Okay, oh, you bastard. You can do it, Pete. Which side does the washer go over the split pin? I can't remember. Come on, lad, you can do this. The ball's not coming out. That's the side for the washer. We should be getting a hole coming through any second for this split pin. There it is. No, hooking up to the illusion. There. Right. Put the split pin, put the roll pin in here. Come on, if you get this in, you've fucking done it. Apart from that washer, is that washer right? There's nowhere else it can go. Hold this back. Do not hit the ball at this point or you've blown it. You've got to get this pin into here. Hands are shaking a little bit. You've got to get this pin without knocking out the ball. You might only get one chance at this. I might only get one chance, lad. Pin's in. You've got to rotate the bar so the pin engages into the slot. It's in. It's in. I think that's it. You got away with it on that bit. What about the roll pin here though? Oh no, how does that work? Ah, it's under pressure. Got it. That's doable as well. Push back on the spring, roll pin in there. Roll pin in there. Doable, doable. I think that's it. And the valve block back in. I think you managed to get away with it. Would it all be in sync? Yes, it would. It can't be out of phase. Do you know what? I think that's it. Has it got a detent on it? Yeah, it has. It works, a detent. That ball just doesn't want to come out. Wow, I'm not complaining. Let's see if park goes in. So park is all the way this way. That's not park. There's park. That locks us. That's working. So it's in park now. Locked up in park. Wow, talking a bit quiet because I was taking it easy there. So what we did, let's overview it. We drilled a hole in the Tina G's poor little floor pan. Luckily you could get to it so that we could withdraw this bar. This bar was held in with a split pin and a bolt on the selector lever, and then it was a little bit seized a little bit, but it withdrew. Then we put the new selector on and slid it all back together with a spring there, giving it a bit of tension. There's a roll pin to replace at that side, and that is that. I think you can put it all back together. Wow, we could be out of here, folks. This could be easier than I thought. Okay, with all that in place, it's looking okay. Got split pin in. I'm now doing the park switch. This is where it all went wrong. I think that I screwed that park switch too far in and snap that selector on, because it fits in that slot inside on that cam. And I reckon I tightened it up that much that it snapped it. It shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's not good. That's how all this started. I'm now in park, so these two contacts here, these are the park inhibit contacts just there, and the next two are reverse. And it's quite weird how the switch works. There's a ring, a circular ring of copper inside it, and then two sets of contacts, and it pulls between. There's a rod inside here with a copper ring on the rod, and it pulls and pushes. It doesn't push down on anything, it actually goes sliding on the shaft. So the idea is when it's in park, the ring is contacting two sets of contacts, and when you go into reverse, it pulls it away from them and joins it to another set, which is the reverse. So you'll see that these two are joined for park. That starts you can start your ignition, or rather it inhibits the starter motor. So that'll work. If I select the next setting is reverse, so I've clicked into reverse, these now won't make contact. Sorry, those won't make contact, and now these that weren't joined are now joined. And then when you go beyond reverse into drive, the reverse lights should stop, which they do, and the inhibit shouldn't work because you can start these in drive. Actually, it's a weird one. I don't know why you can, but you can start them in drive or park, which I didn't think was right. I'm going to check with my gearbox man. I wouldn't have thought you could start it in drive, would you? Definitely you can start it in park. Yeah, because my other cars, Ruby, you can start it in drive as well. It's weird. You'd think the purpose of it was, and let's get it into park, would be to stop you from running away. Park and drive. Why would you be able to start your automatic in drive? It doesn't make any sense. Oh well. That's correct now anyway. And then there's a lock nut on the end of this switch. We've got to tighten that up. Drive. And then this will be 2. And then this will be 1. That's interesting. This one lets you start it in first as well, so that would indicate we're not adjusted properly. So we're going to have to go either forwards or backwards till that stops. I don't know which way that would be. Maybe you aren't meant to start it in. Maybe I've still not got this right. I must admit, I do not like the design of this. Let me get a torch and see if it's worth going. No, we're maxed out there. I'm going to come back. I don't like this. I really don't. I really do not like this switch at all. I think it's horrid. Absolutely horrid. Disgusting, really. You know, you're meant to get that out now. I don't think you can. Now we've got it there. So come back to park. I bet you haven't got it in park now. Ugh. I'm not in park yet. That's park now. So we haven't got it in park. When it should be. That's park. That's reverse. Park's out, so that's right. And it seems to want to go talking in drive. And it seems to want to go talking in 2. No, it doesn't want to go in 2. It doesn't want to go in 1. Well, that's 1 now. That's it. Oh no, we've got reverse lights on. Ha! We shouldn't have those. This is crazy. Park's there. This is reverse. Park's out. So you definitely can't start it in reverse. Reverse lights are out. Let's go back to park. This is a joke. Honestly, this is unnecessary. This park, reverse. So that's park's the bent tab. Correct. 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 Incorrect. Correct. Correct. That's right now, I think. Sheesh. It's got to be exactly right. Ain't just no screw in switch this, folks. You've got to get this exactly right. Crazy it is. Correct for park. And no reverse lights on. Now we should have reverse lights. Correct. No park. No start, I mean inhibit, or rather inhibit. Yes, you can run in drive. You can't run in 2. No reverse lights. No reverse lights. No reverse lights. That's the last thing you want happening. That's it. We've got it there. You can start in drive or park. There's no way around it. Reverse lights are off in any position other than reverse, so that switch is adjusted. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. That is it. Right, we can put this back together. Okay, the valve block is ready to go on. I've taken off this filter, which was damaged. Sorry, the damaged one's over here. I'll show you. This was Tina's one. Had a rip in it there. So I've nicked Bramble's filter, which is better than just gently blown that out. That's clean. So the valve body can go back in now. I think I've got that switch mastered. So time for the valve body to go back in. Okay, valve body back. I'm just going to feel them in by hand, but I think I've got everything on. That's the valve body back, filter back on there. 2 tubes on the valve body. That one had a rubber seal, the other one didn't. The control valve to the lever. I think that's it. I think this will put some panel back on. Oh, and there's a little magnet that you put on here. It just sits on there. Funny magnet just sits on its own. Here it is, somewhere around. I did have it. Hey, a magnet's gone for a little walk. There is a magnet, and we put it in, and they just sit in there, the magnets. So sump on next. Andy the gearbox has done that. He's a Borg Warner specialist. Very good, and he's a fan of the channel. I couldn't believe it. Hang on, let me clean the lens. Okay, so you're underneath with PC, and we've got this pipe now. Let's just line it up on the picture. I think I've got it. That's the last pipe. Looks like it's this one. Where's that? Where are you going? I have to come into your screen. It looks like it's here. No, it's not it. Let's hope that's not a bolt hole. I'm coming in. Where are we? Let's have a look on the picture. Up, across and down. It is this one. And it is. Yep, it's that hole. Is it next to that pipe? No, it's that one. It's that hole. Just somewhere up here. Could be there. I don't think it is. It does line up with that. Yeah, it is that one. Right, okay, so that one's that one. You just tap these in and they go. You very lightly tap them until you hear them bottom out. Gotta be really careful with these. Pan clean, time for pan to go on. Hands clean, pan clean, gotta be done. Okay, a little bit of sealant on this gasket and I'm going to bolt the pan on. I've done the kick down cable, adjusted that as per our gearbox man's instructions. It was actually out and it's been out for a long time. Taken off the old kick down cable because I don't think it was ever the right one. So we've got one off Bramble, which seems to be a lot better. The kick down cam is landing in a better position and it's got seems to be more movement in it and full deflection, so that looks better on the kick down situation as well. So let's get this pan on, some oil in, and I guess it's the big moment. A rare appearance from Andy the Lens on the camera today, ladies and gentlemen, and the advantages of being double jointed means that my legs are virtually folded backwards on myself. Comes in very handy, my yoga class. Look what they taught me to do in yoga. They've got my legs where they shouldn't really be. My God. I took to it like a duck to water. We're good to go. So lightly go round the pan as you lightly go round the bend. Give it your best Clarkson. Andy on the camera then. Chris the Burger nowhere to be seen. Shout out in the comments box if you want him back. After a short tour in Outer Mongolia, he is back. So one more bolt to go in, two there, one more here. A little bit of spiciness there on silicon there is in the way, blocking the thread hole. Someone had bunged this box with so much sealant. I don't know if this is going to blast through. We'll be right back though. Andy's got the shot composed. He knows the score. I'm going to fill it up with oil. And you know, the first thing I do is, will the reverse lights work? That's the whole reason I'm under. Hoping this happened. Have reverse lights. Wow, just because I wanted to fit fancy LEDs, this is the thanks you get. No, the kick down cable wasn't set right. Things needed doing. This is not a wasted exercise. We'll be right back in a sec.
Get one more without getting a bit closer, let's get nicely squared up.
Nice. Okay, and then do another shot from me to camera. Well, it's took me cap, this car's took me cap. I found the part I've been looking for as well. I've been looking everywhere, and not that I needed it, but I was like, where is that part? Because it could still be inside the gearbox, and I've been sat down there thinking, that part's inside the gearbox, and I've left it in there. I didn't. It's here. That does not look good, does it? This is the part of the bit that failed. The remains of it, and there's only one way that you can break that, and that's by having the wrong inhibitor switch, which is what happened to me. It wasn't the wrong one, but it's a longer thread, and I've been used to the short type switch, which screws all the way into the car, but I didn't know there was another switch which is longer, which stands off of a locking nut. Well, of course, I screwed the longer thread switch right into the gearbox, and it's just acted as a lever and snapped that. So if you fit the wrong type switch to the Borg Warner, you'll break this. Nasty, very nasty indeed, and that's just cost me a whole day, starting from this morning's frolics to like whatever time it is now. Yeah, now we're going to put oil in this bad boy a pop, and I've got in my hair, I am Grecian 2000, I am, what's that 70s wet look stuff you put in your hair, what was it called? Brill cream. I'm brill creamed up. But this is brill cream. ATF style. This is brill cream. This is Napa's very own brand. Hair for Men by Napa. Join us. Most complicated way of opening a tub of oil you could ever think of. Sherlock Holmes couldn't work that out. All we wanted to do was pour it properly. We didn't want these squirty nozzles. They're handy for quick top-ups. Keep them in the boot of your car for your quick top-up. We might even take someone to Gibraltar with us. That's fine. But for big operations, we'll see in about 6 months. For big operations, we'll see in about 6 months. Even the glasses took a hit. I'm down to the backup glasses now. My Ray-Bans took a hit. I'm covered in fluid. And look who it ain't, absolutely covered in paint. It's Pete C. And hydraulic fluid, trans fluid is everywhere. We are fluid gender, folks, with our trans fluid gender. All sorts catered for. Right, that's 4 of the amber nectar in, because 4 came out and 4 went back in. Did you notice the difference? 4 in, 4 out. It's not difficult to spot. Right, and also, try putting your sump plug back in before you start filling yourself up. We're ready to test it. Let's go. Use of lethal force has been approved. That one down. I'll go round to the back. No leaks yet from the sump, but I expect them. Ominous sounds. Go to the machines, folks. Wolves at the door. There we go. And this is how you tidy up your workshop when you're tired. You've never seen it before in Cortina City. You've seen the city brought to his knees. You've seen the city brought to his knees by something as trivial as a reverse light switch. Took me to my knees this morning. Took me to my knees. Wrecked a whole gearbox. But luckily Bramble's gearbox to the rescue. An all-important part, but will it work? Dockyard. Alexa. She's deaf these days, this woman. Deaf. Garage door on.
Okay.
Hallelujah, Alexa. Hallelujah. Are we back in the game? Is Pete C back in the game? Do you want to sing our anthem song? Back in the game, we're back in the game. Back in the game, we're back in... Pete C's messing with us. I don't even know the lyrics to my own song. Back in the game. Back in the game. There's fluid all over the floor again. I still have these to baby. Let me just take that fluid out of the bottom of the car there. Hell yeah. can't see any strips, Andy.
That's good.
Everything's out of the way. So he said, I never want to do this again. Why? 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 The dying fly. It's Tiswas. Back in the game. We're back in the... Dead in the water. Are we going to be back in the game, Andy? Or dead in the water?
We'll be dead on arrival.
Okay. There you go. Ready?
Yeah.
Well, wheels are turning round. Let's go down the road and see what happens. I believe we've got reverse lights as well, according to Andy. Well, that's good. Park inhibit works, so the parking switch is wired right, it's set right. That's good. We may get slight weepage from the pan because I've not put a new gasket on there. We'll see how that goes, but let's just see if it actually drives.
Rolling.
Well, we're alright. Kick down wants adjusting. It does work, but it's right at the end. Wants a little bit, but gear changes have gone really smooth. That's because the kick down cable, it's never had the right cable from the botchers who did my gearbox over 20, probably 25 years ago. Put a wrong cable on it, and the kick down cam has always been pulled halfway round, which has made the engine run differently. So I don't think we'll get one there. See, we normally get one down there now, but we're still staying in third. But at least it's changing through the gears, so no damage done to the gearbox as far as I can tell. We are definitely back in the game, with the exception of the kick down. Only a short trip here. I'll do a U-turn round, head back to base. It's getting on. It's time for some beers and a bit of a celebratory beer and kebab. Notice that the turning circle on the power steering is not as good as a manual rack, but it's okay. So off I go. That's a lot smoother change. That went to second. There's third without the thump, so there's no lurching anymore. So we've gone very nice and smooth. So we've gained something here, folks. So it's got to take the positives, those grains of sand and crystals, those shining little lights. Got to grab hold of those. We're lucky we had the parts, but most importantly, the positive attitude to get through this. When you could have just said, that's it, the gearbox is gone. There's nothing you can do, you're going to have to send it away. I've just saved myself £1,000. We're back in the game alright. With a smoother box, smoother changes. Look at that, how about that? Right, look at that. You want a Cadillac? Get your Cadillac with a pink slip for £2,000. Easy Andy, we'll get you a Cadillac with a pink slip for just £2,000. Lovely stuff. Better get used to it, Andy. You're riding in it. It's your tree, Andy. You're sitting in it. Okay, some down changes now. Control. Can cut it now. Worked out why in a 50 camera zone, which this is, that they come racing up. As soon as you see an old car, I presume it's because it's an old car, they think that I'm going to be going slow, and they come racing up to overtake you, but they're doing 55. They're obviously going to get a ticket. I don't understand it. Everyone should just be in this lane, surely. Why would you overtake for 52 mile an hour? I mean, look, that other guy just back there, he's just using the forecourt to turn around. I mean, you know, what's the world come to? Just using the forecourt to turn around. Unbelievable. So we're driving along. We have got prop shaft vibration. If you've probably seen the videos by now.
It's a wedding car.
Yeah, you've probably seen the video by now where I try and fix the prop, which was a good attempt. It's on it now, but it vibrates at 40, so it's no good. I've ordered another one, but they need the exact measurement from the output shaft of the gearbox to the flange of the axle. So I was going to do that till I snapped the gearbox lever selector. Okay, so we're we've done a lot in a day, considering you look at the video, the clip at the end of this, and don't watch it if you don't like mental health issues, by the way, and this isn't a joke. The clip coming up after this film is not good. I've done it so I can remember how low you can actually get, especially in the mornings. So I'm not at my best. I'm okay now, but I'm not at my best on that clip. But don't be worried about it. It's just one of those things. So back to the car then. It's changing through a lot better, and that's according to I've got to shout out to Andy, Borg Warner Specialist. I'm going to put a link to his website below. He's talked me through any potential pitfalls in doing that operation that we've just done. We've saved ourselves here, and looks like this gearbox is going to live to see another day. Down into first, I felt it go, but it's so smooth compared to how it used to be. The thumping has gone. We can pull away there. We're fine. Our kickdown's not where it should be. That's just gone in, and I didn't even feel it. Amazing. So that's great. You have to knock those tubes back in. I didn't like that. All the rest of it I was happy about. But those metal tubes that you just tap in, I was never confident. I didn't just push in, you know. It seems wrong to me, that. And of course, not putting a pan gasket on does concern me a bit. So I might order one as a matter of course, but they're not cheap at 40 quid for the sump gaskets. I think that's a lot for just a simple little gasket. It's a bit of a rip-off, that. And that starter switch then. How would you ever have thought that there's two types of starter inhibit and reverse switch? One with the long threads and one with a short. And I've always had the short thread ones on here. So of course when I get the new one with the long threads, I'm thinking you screw it all the way in, because that's how the other one came out, all the way screwed in. And what did that do? It punched straight through that selector bar and snapped it and wrote the gear. That could write your gearbox off. I've not seen anyone warning me about this. I've not heard it in the urban myths. I've not heard it on the forums, the talk forums at car shows. Watch out for those switches. You get the wrong switch and you wreck your gearbox. Never heard that before. And look, it potentially cost you £1,000. Crazy. But anyway, looks like we're in, and it all seems to be running. So what can you say? But thanks for watching, and of course this gives me the opportunity to wrap the film up. And say thanks for the super chatters, Patreons as always that are keeping the show on the road. YouTube's picked up a little bit. Can you share those links? Can you get this channel promoted a little bit more for me? And let's try and get the subs up. We're doing okay, but I reckon we should be at 50,000. What do you say? You a City fan? Come on, bring it on. Catch you very soon, and thanks to Andy the Lens today for his filming contributions in the car. And he's got to get used to this car, because he's going to be spending 3 days in this machine on the trip to Gibraltar. See you soon. We're going round again, but we're not going to film it. Hasta la vista, baby.
Roll down in the alley, dark and cold. Rusty bones of the tail, rarely told. Gearbox shots up in oil dreams. Wanna get it running, ready for the sunbeams. England skies turning gray to black. Pulled the hood up, felt the whack. Spanner in hand, swearing at the night. Gonna get this Cortina back right. Fix this old force so the wheels can roll. From the great fog hills to Gibraltar. Taste the freedom, taste the dust. Road trip bound, never gonna rust. And wires tangled in a mess, patching up memories we ain't seen yet. Hands dirty, eyes on the prize. Engines roar, gonna pierce the skies. I kept terms with the mighty groan, pain and joy in every stone. Rest to the moment, restore the past. Freedom travels forever, gonna last. The great fog hills to Gibraltar, so taste the freedom, taste the dust. this old Ford so the wheels can roll from the great fog hills to Gibraltar's soul. Taste the freedom, taste the dust. Road trip bound, never gonna rust. Fix this old Ford so the wheels can roll from the great fog hills to Gibraltar's soul. Taste the freedom, taste the dust. Road trip bound, never gonna rust. Great ship turns with a mighty glow. Pain and joy in every stone.
Why? The dying fly. It's this was.